Hi, I'm Laura from Laura Rachel Photography, and I'm going to show you how you can shoot your own silhouette maternity photo using just your phone and no Photoshop. The photographs you'll see here were either photographed by myself using a timer or by my husband. I wanted to avoid using any professional equipment, so there's no tripods, no professional cameras, just my phone balanced on a table and a clock and a timer. I created this video so many women who are unable to have a professional photo shoot still have the opportunity to get some really nice photos, knowing the basics about light and about composition. Due to coronavirus or COVID-19, we're unable to leave the house for very long, and we're also unable to have professional photographs taken. Luckily, I am a professional and I'm able to take my own, but many women out there are unable to do this, so I thought it was really important to show everyone how to get basics. Of course, it won't be the same quality or the same level as a professional photo shoot, but what I'm offering is something that will help you create something more than just bog standard photos. I'm shooting all of my photos on the iPhone X. It is nowhere near the best camera out there. It's not even the latest phone. It's over 2 years old. I'm really hoping I get the iPhone 11 Pro as a push present. Trying to convince my husband that's a thing. I'm not getting very far with that. But what I'm saying is any phone will do, any camera phone will do. You're still able to get the basics. So I'm going to go through light, setup, a little bit on wardrobe, although I am using just what I have, and angles. I'm going to show you the small little details which will help transform your image from just a few photos to something that could be professional, and I want you to love these images. So first of all, we're going to talk about light. Now, a silhouette is quite complex because usually we want as much light on the subject as possible and as little on the background. That generally makes a really nice phone photo. However, this time, because we want a nice dark outline and a white background, we want the opposite. We want all the light on the background and none on the subject being you. The perfect situation for a silhouette photo would be to have quite a dark room with one big window with plenty of light coming in. I don't have this because I live in a new build property, so everything's white, lots of windows, everything's light and airy, and it's not the perfect situation. So I adjusted. So in my lounge I have 3 sets of windows, one being French doors with windows either side, a small window to the side and a big bay window. My French doors are south facing, so that was perfect. Plenty of direct sunlight, that's what we want. We want as much light as possible. So with the other 2 windows, I blocked these off as much as I could to prevent the light from spilling in and lighting me up. I wanted to be as dark as possible, but have all that light coming through the French doors. I chose to open the doors because it was really hot, and also because there was a bar going down the middle, which was going to cause a shadow. So I just left them open as possible. It's always good to note where the sun is. You'll see the sun move across the sky, and if the sun is off to one side, you might find there's additional shadows. So over the next few days, watch where the sun's moving, wait for a really lovely sunny day, and when the sun is straight onto your window, this is the perfect time for a photo. Once the doors were open and the other windows covered, I needed to diffuse the light. I want a nice white background because if I took a picture straight away, you'd see green grass and my neighbour's house, and that just would not have made a good picture. So to create the perfect background, I needed something white. I had IKEA curtains, which would have been perfect because they're nice sheer curtains, super cheap as well. You can pick these up from Amazon, IKEA, plenty of places online. They would have been perfect, but they were only about halfway, so I couldn't use them. Instead, I found a white blanket. It did have a texture, so that made it a little bit more difficult for me, but it let enough light through to light up a white background and to create that silhouette effect. So I took that blanket and I just pegged it up just behind the curtain. I tried to make it so that you couldn't see any of the pegs, and I sellotaped the top just to create a seamless effect. So I'll briefly talk about wardrobe because really it's down to you on whatever you want to wear. I chose a range of dark outfits and light outfits, so you'll see the contrast that I've created. Because this is all about shape, it doesn't matter too much what's on the outfit, it just has to be tight fitting. So something that's going to go around the bump, something elastic that's going to show off the shape. Anything baggy and you won't have that shape, it will just go straight down. Now I am no model, I don't have the neatest bump, and I am festively plump, but it doesn't matter. This is about how everyone can pose for beautiful maternity photos using just your phone. So the first thing I'm going to say when it comes to posing is don't stand straight on. You must be faced to the side. This is all about shape. So it's a dark image, you're not going to see your face, you're not going to see any details, it is just about shape. So standing face on is not flattering. It's not flattering anyway for any maternity photo. You want to be stood side on to really show off that bump. When you're standing to the side and you're looking down at your bump, you may find your hair falls in front of your face. So just make sure you keep pushing that back or tie it up, get it out of the way, because when we're looking at shape, all you're going to see is hair and then bump, and we really want to see the profile of your face. Another good thing to note is when you're looking down at your bump, rather than looking right down, causing a double chin, look down at the floor in front. This still looks like you're looking down at your bump, but it's more flattering. A lot of people are concerned when they're posing to the side is that they have a double chin. So when you're standing to the side and you're all slouched, you'll notice that that profile doesn't look so good. So remember to stand up tall, shoulders back, push your chin forward so it's parallel to the ground. And then when you're looking down, you have a really nice profile as opposed to a relaxed face. And finally, your arms and your legs. You can use your arms to shape the bump. Don't have them just down to your side. Put them both on top, both underneath, one above, one underneath, however you want to really hold and hug your bump. When it comes to your legs, again, don't stand straight on. This is the least flattering. You want to bend the knee that's nearest the camera. You can see the difference when I bend the knee that's nearest the camera and the other knee to where your eye is drawn in the image. When my knee is bent that's nearest the camera, this creates a nice curve on the bump, curve on the bum, and curve on the leg. When I stand the other way around, this makes my bum look the biggest and your eye goes straight to my bum rather than my bump and makes me look bigger than I am. When it comes to angles, if you're taking the photo yourself, make sure you rest the phone on top of something that's going to be straight on and it's not tilted forwards or back. If someone else is taking the photo, if they're taller than you, they'll naturally want to tilt it forwards, and again, if they're shorter, they'll be tilting it up. This creates an image that may not be so flattering. If you're too low, your bottom half will appear bigger and you will appear bigger. So your bum will be bigger and you'll have a tiny head. If you're leaning down, then this is quite flattering. This is a nice pose to do in general, but when we're creating a large image of a silhouette with curtains either side, the curtains are going to warp and it will look distorted. So try as hard as you can to keep that phone straight on looking at you. So now we've got our backdrop ready, the sun's in the perfect position, we know how to pose, the phone is ready, straight on, ready to get started, and now all we need to do is take some pictures. I started off with a few with my cats, so I got my husband to take these photos just because it was much easier than having to run back and forth between the phone and my cat. I think we got a few that worked. It was quite sweet to have him involved. And if you do want to get some photos with your pets, you just have to be patient and have lots of treats. After I finished the cat photos, I decided to continue the rest of the photos myself. I took a table, a clock, a box, anything I could find lying around to rest the phone on. And I just put the timer on and I gave myself 10 seconds for each photo, and that allowed me time to push the shutter, get in position, take a photo, and then assess the image. I made sure I had the selfie camera on. This was so that I could see the screen and see that everything lined up. I needed to set the exposure. Because the room was still slightly too light, I needed to go up and down until I was happy with how much of a silhouette I created in the phone. The exposure did work automatically, and you can see as I moved in and out of the camera how much the light was changing, brighter and darker. So when I got to a point where I was happy, I pressed the shutter and then got in position ready for my photo. So here are a few of my images. You can see some of them I kept as a pure silhouette, and others I decided to ramp the exposure right up. I wanted it really glowy and artsy. This was when I chose to wear white and I wanted it to be really bright. The ones where I wore darker colours, I kept really dark. And as I said, there is no Photoshop, no tricks here, no special apps. This is all done in my phone. So once I had my image, I then clicked edit, and then I made some adjustments, which is super easy to do. I clicked on light. There's all these options where you can change the brightness. So the exposure will make it all brighter. The highlights will really focus on the lightest bits. So we really want to ramp that up. Everything in the window, we want that nice and bright. Shadows, we want that as low as possible because we want the shadows to be dark. And contrast, this is how much difference there is between the light and the dark. So if we want it really dark and really nice, crisp, clear silhouette, then we will do the extremes. And it's really fun just to play around with each of those sliders until you've got the perfect silhouette for you. And that's how you take a silhouette maternity photo at home yourself. And as another little bonus for you, this is how you take a slightly different image using the same setup. For a darker, more of a contrast with the silhouette photo, I moved the phone off to one side and I stood standing in front of the curtain rather than the open window. I stood in front of the curtain and I tilted my body towards the window but my shoulders towards the phone. This created a nice twisted body, show off the bump, and there was enough light, just enough, to create a really nice shape. This works really well if you're dressed in dark clothing and you turn your face towards the light. Now when you take the picture, just adjust the exposure because you want it slightly on the darker side and you get a really nice, unique portrait. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're able to take some really lovely photos of your bump. So there will be more videos how to take more maternity photos around your home and outside, as well as photos on how to take pictures of your baby using your phone.